everyone, welcome to this new video tutorial of OpenCart Form Builder plugin. And in today's video tutorial, I'll be showing you how the customers at the web store front end for the OpenCart can access the custom forms that the admin has created from the module backend configuration settings, and how the customers can submit their queries from the web store front end from different pages as well. And apart from that, we'll also be showing you how the admin would be able to create the custom forms from the backend, like the query, feedback, inquiry, and the survey forms. So before we proceed further to the web store front end to check the customer flow, wherein we'll be showing you how the form builder allows the customers to submit their queries. So before that, I'll be just giving you a small gist about this plugin itself. So basically, with the help of this OpenCart Form Builder plugin by Webcool, would allow the admin to create multiple types of layouts for the forms. These forms could then be easily added to the various pages on the website. The data accumulated from these forms could also be helpful in receiving the feedback, getting customer contact details, and an opportunity to get the leads. So it basically saves the time of the store owner to fetch out data of customers or the prospective customers. And the customers can also get in an interactive interface wherein they'll be able to share information, choice, and demands. Thus, it is the time to upgrade the website by the introduction of the module on the OpenCart website itself. So now let me go ahead and let me show you how this particular things work on the customer front and then the admin front. So right now I'm at the OpenCart web store, as you can see right now at the home page, and on the left hand side you can see this particular block with the heading as inquiry form. So from the home page, the admin has set this particular inquiry form at the home page, so that's why whenever the customer comes in to your home page, he'll be able to see this particular inquiry form. And from here, the customer just needs to enter his name, email address, contact number, and address, or whatever the fields that the admin has created from the admin backend panel. And after that, just tapping on the submit button would send out the inquiry form details, the form details to the admin within the backend module configuration settings. And from there, the admin can check what we say as the inquiry that the customer has asked for. So these fields can be different as well. It depends upon how the admin has created. So for example, within this we have set up the customer name, email address, contact, and address. So let me go ahead and let me enter a few details here, and thereafter I'll just tap on the submit button. And now you can see that the request has been successfully saved. So this is the way the customers can quickly and swiftly enter their query from the web store homepage right now using the inquiry form. And so we just saw that the customer could have basically entered the details for the inquiry form from the home page. Now, apart from the home page, the customer can also access any of the products, and on the product page as well, the customer would be able to see the form that the admin has set up for the product page. So here I am at the product page for the big modern necklace, and on the right hand side we have set up the product survey form, and from here we have set up some details that the customer needs to input. So the customer can enter his name, email ID, he can upload a file, and it depends upon the file types enabled by the admin from the module configuration settings. Apart from that, we have set up a text box where the customers can enter their suggestions about the product, and here you can also see the option that we have set up which allows the customers to continue with the product and what kind of changes do you want. So this is the product survey form that I've created, wherein I've asked the customer for certain details there, and the customer can also upload a file for their particular query of a particular product. So we saw the forms on the home page, then on the product page. Apart from that, the customers can also find a pop-up for inputting their queries to the admin, and that particular button would be available just above the forms that you've created and set up. So let me show you that within the user guide itself right now. So here you can see that we are at the home page right now in the backend, and here you can see the customer query form button is there, and tapping that up brings up the customer query form that the admin has created from the module configuration settings. So that was how the admin can allow to create the different product survey forms from the admin backend panel, and he can set up those forms at the appropriate places within his web store, like the home page, product page, and other pages as well. Now let's go to the admin backend panel and let's see what different initial configurations are required for this particular plugin, and then we'll be seeing how the admin can set up these inquiry or the product survey forms at the web store itself for accessing and for extracting the information from the customers. And for that, let me take you to the admin backend panel now. So here I'm at the OpenCart backend panel right now. So I'll be entering my username and password and tap the login button to access my backend panel for my OpenCart web store. Now after I've entered here to my dashboard, now to make after you successfully install this particular plugin, what you need to do is you need to navigate through extensions, then extensions, and on the extensions page here you need to choose your type of modules, and then we just need to scroll down and you need to search for the OpenCart form builder. And here you can see that the admin has right now created around 4 query forms, like the customer query form, feedback form, inquiry form, product survey form. So apart from these, you can add many other forms as well. It depends upon your requirement there, and you can easily create these type of forms. And to add a new form, you just need to tap here on the add button in front of the OpenCart form builder. So if I tap here on the button, you'll see that will be navigated to the page to create a new OpenCart form, and wherein for the new form we can set up the general settings, the layout settings, the email that would be sent out from that, and the errors as well. So that was how you can add a new OpenCart form using the form builder. Now let me show you how we can edit anyone. So for example, here we are having the inquiry form, or let's go to the product survey form that we just saw in the initial of this particular video. So let me tap here on the edit button, and that would bring up the section for the product survey form that we had created. So let's go through each of these options or the tabs that allow us to set up a new form within the OpenCart itself. So under the general, we need to enable that form. We need to choose the store. So it also works with multiple stores, so no issues with that. And depending upon your stores, if you have multiple stores, you can set them up accordingly. It also supports multiple multi-languages as well, so you can set those as well as required. Then you can set up the module name. So we have set it as product survey form. So here you can see that we were in the product page, and on the right hand side we have the product survey form with an option to upload a file as well. Now let's go back. So the form heading would be product survey form, and response message, your response is saved successfully. So after we have basically let me enter some details here, and for example, I'll just enter some demo text and some demo text here, and now let me tap on the submit button. Now you'll see that we'll be getting a success message, that is your response is saved successfully. So that comes from this response message section here. So you can set that up in multiple languages as well. As you can see, in Arabic and English we are having it right now. Then you can choose the default mode, and from it you can basically choose the default or the pop-up view. If we have chosen the default one, then we'll have this kind of form block. Otherwise, if we choose this option as a pop-up, then this particular option would be a pop-up. So after that we have the option to display only to the customers logged in. So if you want to display these forms to the logged in customers only, then you need to choose the enable option for that, otherwise you can disable it. Then you can also set up the customer groups for which these forms would be available. So right now we have set it as default. You can also assign the customer group depending upon the groups that you've created for yourself. Then we have the record in database, so you can choose enable or disable for this particular option. And if you have enabled this particular option, then the form responses would be recorded in the database itself. Then you can set up the extensions that can be used for uploading a file. So here we have given access to all of them, and the maximum file size limit can be set up by the admin in bytes. And thereafter you just need to navigate to the layout section after that. And under the layout we can set up the form itself, how the form would basically be visible to the customer at the front end. So here we have set up the field name as customer name. So here's the field name, the customer name. Then we have chosen the placeholder as the name. Then we have set up the status as enabled for this particular form. Then we have set it up as required, and the type. So this type basically brings up the box wherein we can enter the details. So here we have a text box for this label that we have created. Label all the field name that we have created. Then for the form email ID, you can set up the field name. So here we have the email ID and the text box to enter the same. So you can set the email ID here. So actually you can create the values or the attributes within the survey forms according to your own requirement there. So for now we just created it like customer name, email address, uploading a file, suggestions about the product, select a product, and what kind of changes would you like to see. And similarly we have set this up in the layout for this. We have chosen the placeholder as email, the status, and enabled, required, enabled, type, email. You can also choose any of them as well from here. Then we have the form upload file. We can set up the field name, the upload file, the placeholder, status, required, and type. Then we have the form write your suggestions about product. Write your suggestions about your product and can provide the customer with the placeholder as well. And we can also set up the would you like to continue with the product, that has a drop down option. And from here we can also add the options for this particular section for the contact form, and from here you can add more options to it. Then we have what kind of changes would you like to see, similarly like that. So what kind of changes would you like to see, and if you want to add more attributes there within the form, you can tap here on the add field. Then you can set up the field name, the placeholder, then the status, and the rest of the details as well. So this is how we can set up the internal data for the product survey form. First we did the enabling, then we created the outermost section, then we chose the display mode as a pop-up or default, and the rest of the details there. Now let's go to the emails, and here the admin needs to enter the email. The store email address and this email is shown when the module installs and is editable basically. Then we have the notify to customer through email. You can choose this option as enabled or disabled. If enabled, then the mail will be sent out to the customers when the form is submitted. Here we have a multiple number of mail keywords that can be used within the emails itself. And for the multilingual setup, we can set up the customer email subject, the description that would have the mail keywords to provide the exact data for the respective customers. Then we have the subject and the email description. Similarly, we can set that up in the English language as well by setting up the customer email subject, the email description with the keywords, and the admin email subject and the admin email description as well. For each respective form that you have created, you can set up the general layout, email, and within the layout you can create the attributes within that particular uh, form that you want to get from the customers. And lastly, we have the errors, and that can also be set up in multiple languages. So here you can set up the error messages for the fields that you have set as required. You can also set up the error message for the uploaded file types. You can set up the error message for the uploaded file size and for the invalid emails as well. So if there's an invalid email, that then this kind of a message would be displayed to the customer. Otherwise, for the required fields, if the customer misses any field, then he'll see the text that is please fill in all required fields. So you can also edit them up as your own requirement there. And lastly, you can tap here on the save button to save the particular configuration for the form that you have created. Now whenever a customer uses a form, the admin just needs to navigate back to extensions and the OpenCart form builder, and he needs to open the respective form that he has created, and under that he'll be able to see the form submission data. So if I tap on this, this would bring up all the queries that have been asked from that particular OpenCart form builder. So I'll just show you that. I've just tapped on that. So we have a product survey form, and the details that are submitted from here would be visible to the admin like this. And from here the admin can basically tap on the view button to see the data that the customer has entered from the web store front end. Apart from that, the admin can download the attachments as well by tapping here on the download button. And let me show you how we can do that. Extensions, then here we'll choose modules, and here will be navigate to the OpenCart form builder. So for example, if we want to check how the details that have been sent out by the customers from the inquiry form, then we just need to tap here on the edit button, and that brings up the section for the form itself, and tap here on the form submission data, and that brings up the complete list of the customers that have made use of the inquiry form. And from here the admin can check the data. So now after you've for example created a new custom form from the admin backend, you can basically find that particular form under the OpenCart form builder here. So right now I've created 4, so you're able to see only 4. If I create a new by tapping here on the add new one, that would be then listed here under these 4 forms. And I just showed you how we can edit the query forms as well by tapping here on the edit button, and then we can change the data within that. So to change the fields or add more, you can tap here on the layout button, and accordingly for each of the fields you can add different fields for the particular form. Also, if I choose the option that is I'll just show you that. If I choose the display mode as pop-up and then save the particular form that we have created for the product survey form, and let me come back to the product survey form on the product page, and if I refresh this page, then right now you can see that as we have set it up the survey form as the pop-up, so we have this particular button. So if I tap on that brings up the product survey form, as you can see, and from here we can again enter the details and submit our query. Apart from that, we can also tap reset or close to take it out. And let me go back to the extensions, then let me navigate back to my OpenCart form builder, then product survey form. Let me tap edit, and if you choose the option the display mode as default and then save it, and if we refresh the page now, we'll be seeing the default product survey form that we had created. So that was much about the OpenCart form builder plugin, and I hope it helped you out in understanding how the customers can access the customized forms from the web store front end, and how they can submit their queries depending upon the type of custom forms that the admin has created using this particular OpenCart form builder plugin, and it depends upon how the admin has set up the different forms at the home page or on the product page or some other places as well. And according to that, whenever a customer reaches those places, they can find the form wherein they can submit their queries for the product or anything else as required. So that was much, and if you still have any queries or questions regarding this particular plugin, then you can always get back to us at support@webcool.com, or you may raise a ticket at webcool.uvides.com. Thanks for watching this video and have a great day ahead.